We're going to take a look at Worldbook Online today. And it is a web-based application that we've been having access to for quite some time. And now some of the features have actually gone free for the public. So we're not paying for some of those features anymore. So they're great features, and Early World of Learning is one of them. Again, that's the Early World of Learning. That's one of them. That's awesome. And then there's a new timeline features that we're going to talk about as well. So where do I find these things? Well, there's two ways to do it. You can go to Start, Programs, come up to Applications, there it is, and then go to Student Apps. And in the Student Apps, you'll notice that there's a list of Worldbook applications. So again, they're right in Start, Programs, Applications, then Student Apps. And so let me go through each of these a little bit with you at this point. So Worldbook Advanced, is a application for upper secondary students. This is way too difficult for our elementary students. Also, Worldbook Discover is also a little bit harder. The Early World of Learning is the one I've talked about earlier, and this one is great. It's a Spanish encyclopedia, so it's Worldbook basically in Spanish, and it's kind of mid-level. So if you had some students who are Spanish speakers, you could have them do this encyclopedia. Also, you got Worldbook of Kids, which is a little bit lower L, second, third grade. And then you've got Science Power. And Science Power is a nice tool for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, as well as the Social Studies Power. It's really nice features that we have. And then the Worldbook Student, I just skipped over staff real quick. Worldbook Student is for upper elementary students, 4, 5, 6 probably. The staff, we'll talk about that another time right now, but I want to look at Early World of Learning. So I can go ahead and click that and it'll bring me there. The other way you can do that is that if I'm in Google and I can do a Google search real quick, would be to type in Worldbook of Learning or Worldbook Online. Go here, you notice I've been here before. And when I click this, even though it doesn't say Muskegon Public Schools and it's not tied, we've set that up so when you go to the website for worldbookonline.com, it'll take you directly right into Muskegon Public Schools. So you notice that we're tied in right into Muskegon Public Schools. The first one we're going to look at today is Early World of Learning. The other one I talked about that's new is Timelines, and Timelines is really quite neat in terms of looking at a timeline in some historical timelines, or even you can build your own timeline. You can build like your family timeline or the timeline of your school year. You could do that and see where your school year has gone in your classroom. So that might be something fun to do. So first we're going to go to Early World of Learning, and you'll notice that every time I hover over something,
play, watch, print,
or it reads it to the student. So you're going to want to have headphones for this, for sure. And if we can hit read real quick, and there's a know it, which is kind of we're going to take a quick peek here. Different things about more kind of science features, and you can scroll through here a little bit, and there's more than here. There's tree houses, shells, pets homes. So it's kind of a science type thing. And there's some more fun down here. There's some videos. There's some C things with an I. The video has the little video player there, and you can kind of scroll through different things as well here. Maybe there's not many here. All right. That must be the bird's nest piece. If I go to lodges, a new thing comes up for lodges. Logs and leaves. So you could use this, whole group if you needed to for some of your science lessons. We're going to go back to read real quick, and we're going to do welcome to reading. And you notice that there is different levels. Now it's not a Fontes Pinel level or a running record level or anything, but they are leveled, and obviously level A is the easiest up through level D. And so you can do it here is go ahead and click the icon, and you can have them read it, or they can read it to them.
Trek's friends are lost. Where is Wagtail? Here I am. I am not lost.
All right, so that's not your typical level A, but it is an easy reader. Once they want to get out of that, they go ahead and just click out. There's also some different more fun things that go with Trek and his friends. Trek meets Taffy. There's more stuff down here that would go with that as well. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right back to the read again and go to Trek's Travels. In Trek's Travels, you have some different type of material.
Learns about numbers.
So learns about numbers, learns about colors, learns about size, shapes, sounds, places, tastes, and smells. So there's a lot of different things that are tied to the curriculum that are here that you could have your students working on in your classroom. You could do a whole group. You can model that. Modeling would be a great idea to do that first. We're going to go ahead and open this up real quick. So Trek learns about numbers. And it's a little harder. It's not a leveled set. So
You're just in time, said the peacock. Just in time for the grand parade. It will start from here.
all right, I think you get the idea with that. You can also have it in Spanish. If you click on En Español, you'll notice that in Google Translate it's going to change it. I'm going to say, no, don't translate that for me. I'll play this again.
Llegaron justo a tiempo, dijo el pavo real. Justo a tiempo para el gran desfile que saldrá de aquí en un minuto. Trek y los pájaros. Trek.
All right, we're going to stop right there. So it takes the same story in Spanish, reads it in Spanish to the student. Again, a great tool for your Spanish speakers or those students who are just learning how to speak Spanish, actually, too. All right, so that's everything in Read.
Read.
And again, with all the things like learnings about numbers, there's also some different things. There's a video about numbers. There's a little game about numbers, and that all that goes together. So now let's jump over to Play. In Play, you have some different things like in their games, like put the story in order, a concentration, a sorting activity, multiple choice. Let's take a look at the multiple choice, because I don't remember what it is, actually. So let's look at letters.
Fill in the missing word. Now that you've finished reading, it's time to play. Drag the correct word to the sentence to complete it.
All right, so you can read the story. There's a story that goes with it.
People all over the world send letters. What happens to a letter after you put it into the mailbox?
All right, so we're going to go back, and we've read the story. Oh, jumped right out of there. Letters.
Fill in the missing word. Now that you've finished reading, it's time to play. Drag the correct word to the sentence to complete it.
Street, garbage, park, mailbox.
All right, so I'm not going to spend much more time on this to explore it because we've got limited time today, but you'll notice that it's a drag and drop thing, which is something that I know our students had some difficulty with map skills as well for the map testing. So again, another great activity to help them with that skill. We're going to come back over to Play. There's a bunch of multiple choices you can see. There's a watch videos thing here too. And again, there's a lot of different things, sports and hobbies, plants. So if you're doing a study on plants, there's there some big ideas. Let's take a look at what the big ideas are. So place words. Let's take a look at this one.
When we need to explain where something is, we use place words. Place words talk about where things are. On, in, under.
All right, those are great vocabulary terms, as you know, for developing that spatial sense of space for the student. So again, great stuff there. The print and do stuff, I'm not going to tell you that it's great because it's not. And obviously, most of the stuff it's not great. But there's all kinds of stuff. Letters, there's location, there's matching. But there's a lot of better stuff than that in this than the print and do. I'm not a fan of the print and do, and if I could turn it off, I would. But it's just there, it happens to be there. What we haven't talked about yet, just clicking on the early world of learning brings you back here, and when I click on this little frog over here, he turns into a prince, and the whole screen changes into nursery rhymes and songs. So I'm not going to spend the whole time going through all of these things. Story corner. Let's just take a look at this, and there's some new stories. Balto's race to the rescue.
The cat on the Dover Fell.
Cinderella. Things like this. If we were to go back right here, we can turn the prince back into a frog, and we're back home to the early world of learning again. So that's a quick overview of early world of learning. Now we're going to take a look at other products, and I can just stay right here in my product. I don't need to go anywhere else, and click here and get to the next thing I wanted to take you to, which was kids. All right, so it's very kid friendly, and again, this is kind of like an encyclopedia, but it's so much more. So you have maps and more. You've got pictures. You've got a whole world of animals. You have science products. Let's say we're doing a study on, let's say Martin Luther King. There we go, right there. And we say go. So what it's going to tell me in my search of Martin Luther King, that there's 17 articles on Martin Luther King that we found. There's 5 pictures and there's 5 videos. So if I just want to just look at the videos, I could do just the videos. All right, and a lot of this is the same across early world book for kids, for students, even advanced. But what it does is kids just takes the content and lowers the level, the reading level, and so that your students can handle the material. There's also an advanced search feature, so you can actually do a lexile measure if you wanted to, and search by lexile measure. And you can search all of these things, some of them. So there's a lot of different ways to do that. There's always a featured video that comes up the top. There's always these different featured things at the top too. For example, the Rainbow Bridge National Monument, life in rural Ghana, Pope Francis, all kinds of different things. So they're everyday things that are historical and even real life things that are happening today in their world. So there's a dictionary built in, places, people, plants and animals, science and mathematics. There's just a ton of different things here. So we can do, let's say we're going to do biographies. And there's only one biography here at this point, but we could go dig deeper and say astronauts. Oh, here's a whole bunch. You could do a whole study on astronauts if you were doing some kind of space thing, or just teaching kids how to research. So if I was going to take a look at Buzz Aldrin here, what's nice about this as well is that you have information about Buzz Aldrin. If I didn't know how to say his last name, I turn this on, I click this on first.
Buzz Aldrin was born in Montclair, New Jersey, on January 20th, 1930.
All right, so I had to slow that down a little bit. It got a little crazy, being too fast, so I just slowed it down, and all it says is place your cursor in the article text and click to begin reading.
Buzz Aldrin 1930, was a United States astronaut.
And I think that's a lot better. What's also nice is that you can also translate this text into all these different languages. So if you had a student who came from another country, and let's say they're Russian, you could go ahead and it'll actually translate that. You could have them print this if you wanted to. Them they could save it and save. Print.
Email soft trans.
All right, we're gonna turn that off. We're gonna do a PDF and hit save, and then they could go ahead and save it to where they needed to save it in their drive, in their student drive, or their the student drive on at your school. So and it also gives you what Lexile level these are at also. So that's really kind of nice too. The other tool that I wanted to show you was the citation information. If we're asking students to do some research, they should also know the citation information. And in doing so, they need to actually take a look at what they have here and cite their work. Now, they can create and it's just really a copy and paste as part of their bibliography page when they do a research project. But we should be teaching our kids how to do this, and this actually helps us do that. I mean, I remember doing this in college and trying to figure out how to do all the things. This does it for you. And so it would be great to do this and to start this with our students so that when they get to the middle school and they get to the high school, they know how to do some of this already. And so they're familiar with citing their work. It's really important information to do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just click on the word kids, and it takes me back. So that kind of gives you an overview of kids. Student, I'm going to show you the next one, is student. And that's very, very similar. As you can see, it changes dramatically, and it has some different things. So I know that some of our students study Michigan, and they can just explore Michigan. It's brought right up there, and it has all this information about Michigan. You don't have to go to Google. You don't have to, make sure that your web search is safe. All this is safe here for you. So this really, really works quite well in terms of doing a lot of that information that already has. The information is there for you, and it's safe, and you don't have to worry about that as a teacher. Again, there's citation tools, there's research tools. It talks about how to do research. There's timelines that we talked about earlier. You can do a search here, and when this search was nice is you can do Worldbook Student plus kids. So there is some different information between students and kids. You can just search media. So I can just say, again, Martin Luther King, and I just want to search media. So instead of going through all the information, I've given 12 pictures and 5 videos. So it's changed a little bit. And you can take some of this information, obviously, and put it back in your research papers or just find information out. The other thing I wanted to show you real quick was Science Power. And you notice that you can select by grade. And there is grades in here. Lower, it's by Michigan. That's the first thing that comes up. And we can say we're going to do 3rd grade. We can say 3rd grade Michigan and do a search. And please wait while we load that web page for you. And here is all the information that they currently have in terms of those standards. And what they have is a nice link that goes back to what that expectation is from that grade level standard. And then we can say, go ahead and let's take a look at this. So what is matter? There is a science power lesson on what is matter. So if we click that, it takes us to what is matter in the lesson. So then the lesson starts here, and it goes over vocabulary, and it has an introduction. And this is a great thing to do. You can just do this, whole group with a whole group. There's a pre-assessment and there's a post-assessment. So there's a ton of information in here. And just to jump back, I mean, we're not going to spend tons of time on Science Power. I also wanted to show you Social Studies Power just very shortly here, just quick. But it's the same thing here. We can do a 4th grade Michigan. Let's see what's out there. Do a search by standards. All right, let's see if there's anything. Oh, there is some stuff here in terms of geography. So there's the Northwest. This lesson is about the Midwest. Go ahead and click there. And then we've got some information about the Midwest. Again, I just barely touched the surface of Social Studies Power and Science Power. And most of the information that I gave you today was very, very surface. But spend some time with your kids in the lab. Spend some time with your kids. This will work on your Chromebooks. This will work on your desktops. All this information is available for you, and it's available for you all year long. Please take advantage of this information. It's a great way to do searches, and it's safe for you as the teacher instead of sending your kids out to Google and not knowing where they're doing or what they are doing. So again, Worldbook Online, please continue to make use of these great materials and resources. Thanks. Have a great day.